My name is Berlinda Jackson, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means to me is that I haven't found it necessary to use any mind, mood altering substances, nor had any challenges with my diagnosis in over 27 years. And what recovery means to me is regaining a relationship, not only with family, friends, but more than anything with this loving and caring God that saved me from me. Regaining a relationship with me, because that's what I lost. I lost me in the mix. Prior to recovery, I was in a very dark place. I was in a very lonely place, where I didn't want to feel. I went through some traumatic experiences. I need to say that I am a molestation and incest survivor. I'm not a victim. During that time, it was so dark that I wanted to medicate my feelings. So I took my first drink at 5 years old. I don't know if y'all remember the blue light in the basement parties. Well, I was the kid that was under the chair, that when you reached down and picked up your drink was no longer there because I had already drank it. And when I would see people, they were having fun. But as I got older, between that 11 and 13, it got very dark for me because I couldn't understand why, this was happening, and being told that nobody was going to believe me. So I had to stuff those feelings. And I did that with marijuana, with alcohol, because I wanted to be known. And my disease of addiction progressed. It progressed to not just the drink, the marijuana, but it progressed to the cocaine, and that took me on a trip all in its own, because I not only used and abused drugs and alcohol, I sold them too. Through that time, I became who others wanted me to be. A little bit before that, I had these certain feelings, that I wasn't attracted to men. And please understand, it wasn't because of the molestation and the incest. It just wasn't there. And all I heard in the midst of that I was an abomination, and that carried me through my darkness. You don't like me no way because of the feelings that I have, because of me embracing those feelings. And I need to say that because of my sexuality, that does not mean that I have anything against men. If I see a good looking guy, please understand, I tell him, boy, you look good. Where your sister? And that was during the times that when I wasn't married. And today I am. I learned to respect Berlinda and my feelings. There came a time that my sister, she needed me. She asked me to help her take care of her father-in-law. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now, mind you, I'm in the midst of my addiction at this point. And I went to help her. Now, this is the sister that when I told her I was gay, she said, I don't care. I love you for you. And when I went to help her, I was there a couple of days, and it was like, okay, I'm done with this. I got to get high. And I left, and I didn't go back. And the hurt that I put on my sister, because she had always been there for me, and I wasn't there when she needed me. So that caused me not to want to do what I was doing to myself and to my family. Now, I don't know if anybody knows about the 8th floor of Grady. At that time, that was the psych ward. When I got there and I told them what the situation was, they told me they couldn't help me. I just needed not to do drugs, and I heard this guy sitting next to me and he said, "I'm hearing voices." I said, "Wow." And they took him and they helped him. So I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I'm hearing voices." And she said, "Come go with me." And as I walked with her, we went to the outside, got on this van, and they took me to Georgia Regional. Got inside, they slammed that door, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. I ain't heard nothing. And the lady said, "You may not have heard anything, but for the next 13 days, yes, you did." When I was in Georgia Regional, I went to my first Narcotics Anonymous meeting. And I sat in that meeting, and the most profound thing I heard was, if you don't pick up, you won't get high. And I'm like, so you mean if I don't touch it, I won't get high? And that started it for me. When I left there, I went to meetings. I heard them say, go to 90 meetings in 90 days. I heard them say, get a sponsor. Meeting makers make it. I heard them talk about recovery being an inside job. And that's what I did. I was at a meeting at least 3 to 4 times a day. I craved the information because I didn't want to go through the pain of being out there in that darkness. So that's what I did. And I do the same thing to this day. I go to meetings on a regular basis. I sponsor individuals. I work the 12 steps with my sponsor. I always heard it said, an addict alone is in bad company. So I held on to that. And that's the same things that I hold on to today. That service component, that was it for me. I knew that there was life and then there was death. And for me, all in between is service to God and another human being. So I started working in a facility for women and children. And I saw the need. I saw the need for somebody to be real and honest about their recovery. So I was talking to some people that was in this fellowship that I'm in, and they started talking about this CARES thing. And I'm like, CARES? What is that? And I started taking a look at it. And at that point, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my passion. This is who I am. So I obtained my CARES AD, which is AD for addiction diseases. And it didn't stop there because I was hungry. So I got a CPS in mental health. I said, okay, I need to give this away because the only way I can keep it is I give it to somebody else. So whole wellness, I need to be well, not just one part of me, but in all of me, to be able to give that to somebody else. So I got that certification. And then the disease of addiction within itself is traumatizing. So I'm like, okay, trauma-informed care. So I got a certificate in that. I work for Georgia Council on Substance Abuse. And I'm a Recovery Warmline Coach. And I can be of service every day because somebody needs to be heard. And that's what I do. We're there to listen. People call into the Warmline from all over the world. And we support them with whatever challenge they're going through. We meet them where they are. We are that listening ear, that empathy, that compassion. that understanding, because I've been where they are. It may not have been exactly what they've gone through, but I felt the feeling. I understand. We answer calls from 8:30 in the morning to 11 p.m. at night. You know, we're not a crisis line, but we're there. Number one, that you can do it. Your dreams can be awakened. You know, there are many different pathways to recovery. The most important message is there are people who care. There are people who will be there for you and help you walk through whatever it is that you need to walk through. You don't have to stay in the darkness. Because see, I want to be that person, not the light at the end of the tunnel, but in the middle of the tunnel, saying, come on, it's all right. See, you can stand for something, but more importantly, you can stand for you. You can be someone that helps someone. You can be someone that's just an example by sight. To see an individual walk this pathway, or whichever one you choose.